Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well and I hope you're doing amazing. I hope you're keeping safe, finding ways to, I don't know, find light. I know that's pretty hard right now, but it only takes intention, I think, sometimes. We took a little high test again because the lockdown happened, and then we had to look for more ways to create content because we're not going away for 3 months like we did last time. So we're going to do Zooming and all of that. So to wrap up the conversation that we started June with, we are still talking love. I'm going to have 2 people to talk love to us in different forms. I'm having one of my loves, my hotspots, Tracy, on this one. I met Tracy in 2019. When did we meet? 2018.
Yeah.
I met Tracy in 2018 at an Amwa feminist training. And because we were the group of youngins, we literally formed a friendship and a bond. For the past years, we've moved away from just being feminist friends to being actual intentional friendship. And we do a lot together and care for each other, and we're there for each other in multiple ways. Yeah, so we have grown with each other, and we are, expanding on love, and we inquire and we learn and we teach and we're accountable and all these different things that I think friendship should be doing. So Tracy, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be on Lisa's YouTube channel. My name is Tracy Ivy, and of course, I'm a feminist. I am also a human rights activist. I am a blogger when I have time. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm an all-round lover of life. I'm a lover of revolution. I just like to be involved in things that make people's heads pain, but also things that help me question a lot. So, that's briefly it about me.
I love that. So, guys, I know we took a pause of this whole structure thing, but I'm putting it back in place. And we do every Friday, Feminist Friday. And for this particular Friday of the month, if it was June, would be a feminist read. And because you've had so much of my content, Tracy is going to give us a feminist read.
Okay, my feminist read is something that's amazing to me. And actually, I fell in it when I was preparing for this, is an article written by an Indian feminist called Amulya Raghavan. Mm-hmm. And the article is titled Self-Love Even When It Seems Impossible. I think it's an amazing read. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to share that link of that article just down below. And that brings us to the conversation that we're going to have today. If I know someone that loves himself radically, it's Tracy. It definitely has to be Tracy. Because Tracy is the type of person who, she's so peaceful, she's so calm. Like, that's her, like unbothered. But if you come for her self-love, that is where she draws the line. And she's like, absolutely not. You do not have the authority. You don't have the right. You won't speak about it. Who gave you that place? Who positioned you? It's not happening. So what is... And I know one thing as a feminist, like, you are asked to remove all these patriarchal standards that they place on loving yourself as a woman. When you love yourself, you're selfish, you're vain, I'm big. Who's going to love me if I don't love myself? So I do want to ask you, what's your self-love journey been like?
Okay, I would like to say I've always loved myself a lot. Growing up, because I was surrounded by a lot of love, I think that also kind of showed itself in how I carried myself. Of course, there were those days that were a bit difficult, but for the most part, I think I've come from a loving family. I've always had very good friends. And so kind of, I've always been surrounded by love anyway. I think up until I was about 20 or 21, that's when I started to question and feel a little bit out of love with myself. I think also that was the time I was out of touch with myself. So I couldn't love myself the way I was loving myself initially. So when I got introduced to feminism and I started my feminist journey in 2018, I think that's when I got introduced to radical ways of loving yourself. Because before I was a feminist, it was just, oh, I'm surrounded by love. I know what love is, but it wasn't intentional to say that, you know what, to what extent do I love myself? What are the things about myself that I love and those things I don't love and can't change about myself? And so when I got into the feminist journey, I think it helped me now make love intentional for myself. It helped me pick apart myself, but also build myself back together in love. So yeah, and since then I've been loving on myself. Even when days are hard, even when I do some things, I'm like, you know what? Do I really deserve to love myself? Like, would someone else love me after I've done that? I think because I'm intentional about it, I fall back on the foundation of love anyway. So yeah, that's what my journey, I can say, has been. But also, I think even the intentionality, I think also I think it also comes from, again, like how you are loved when you're growing up, because something my mom always says, you can't pour from an empty cup. And there's this analogy of a jug.
That's true.
So you get a jug and you keep putting water into the jug. When the jug fills up, you can put cups to start filling the jug. So the cups are the other people, right? But because this jug keeps emptying, you need to keep replenishing. You need to keep replenishing the water. So that's where self-love comes in. That is not just a one-time thing, like you love yourself and that's it. It's something that needs to be intentionally fulfilled. It's a fire that needs to keep being poked, because when you stop, then the jug is going to be empty and then you have nowhere else to pour from. So yeah, I think that's what my journey has been, really.
I think that's first of all, that's powerful. But also I think that does make a lot of sense, because one thing that feminism will ask you is to learn to love yourself, because you cannot give people what you don't have.
Yeah.
And I was speaking about projection sometime, and I realized that when you hate yourself, it's easier for you to hate other people. What you think of yourself is easier for you to like transport it to someone else and make it their reality. So you did speak about growing up, loving yourself, and then reaching 20 and then that journey, like you're now questioning certain stuff. And I know for a fact that I think that's when the teenage, early 20s, as you move as a woman, that's when there are a lot of like different stereotypes, different ideas of what you should be, what you should look like, how you should carry yourself, and all of this. And when you are not mirroring these expectations, then then there's a problem. So what are the different exactly? So what are the different myths and stereotypes that you had to debunk for yourself when you were breaking yourself apart? I liked how you used that to be able to rebuild in love.
Yeah. I think I also think I was a bit blessed, because the time when we were growing up, I think Facebook became a thing when I was like in S2. So I didn't really grow up around a lot of social media. And then the things I would read were in newspapers. Also, in our home, we didn't really have so many magazines. So it was basically newspapers or books and TV. But even then, the TV time was limited to cartoons. On cartoons, like there's no information about how to love yourself, just jokes and banter. And so because I didn't have this wide perspective of seeing what beauty standards look like, what body positivity looks like, what all these things look like, I think it also contributed to how I loved myself, because then I was not loving myself according to someone's standards. But of course, when social media came on, and you're growing into yourself as a little girl, like puberty starts to kick in, adolescence starts to kick in, and then your body is not looking like someone's, and so you're like, okay, is there something wrong? That took a long time to unlearn. And like I told you, when I was 20, now that's when I was actively now involved in social media, and I was Googling everything. And so I started to see people, like there was a very little representation of people who looked like me in terms of my body, but also who thought about their bodies like me. So I didn't really find a lot of that representation, and it made me start to question a lot of things. The myths I've had, or growing up and even up to now, I think one of the things, especially with social media and Instagram, is seeing that for it to be self-love, it has to be luxury. Like, trust me, there's nothing wrong with luxury, but
girl, we are soft like this. What are you saying?
Period. But what I'm saying is, you go on this yacht in Dubai, shaking your ass in a thong, but you don't love yourself. You get, so it doesn't only have to be about money. For me, I think it's a personal thing, like it doesn't cost anything, because again, I believe like you can't buy yourself out of hate. So you buy yourself all these nice things, but luxury is not self-love. Like, money is not self-love. Like, it's something that you can't put a price to, because you cannot buy it. So it has to start with you. I think that's one myth. What people think, oh, when I take myself out on a trip, that means I love myself. It is part of loving yourself, but it is not the core. It's not the foundation of where you should find that love within yourself. I think that's one of the myths. And then also, I think another thing that has also radicalized my thinking around self-love is the myth that if you're not represented, then you don't matter. So I've learned to get myself out of that thing. If I'm not represented somewhere, let me be the one of one. Let me be the original of that. Like, I don't need to seek validation from, magazines or social media or whatever for people who look like me. If they're not there, then let me be the first to look like me. Yeah. So that's also another thing I'm trying to unlearn and get out of. It's okay to be an original copy of something, but yeah, like, I think those are the two myth stereotypes I can like pinpoint that really, made me that I've learned to unlearn anyway.
I really like the last one. I think I'm definitely hell-bent. Now I'm unlearning because representation politics are problematic. But I really like that. I think we always call for, I think I've always called for representation to be able to do something. But now I'm like thinking back, sis, you can be the first, and it's all right. Yes. It's okay. Yes. I mean, I'm okay with being a first in like career dynamics, but like with my self-love, I usually oftentimes need like, has someone else done it? Okay, now I can do it. So that makes a lot of sense. So I think you expanded on what you went through. But if you would like to speak on that, I feel like in the two, you've already done it. So I just want to ask, how has feminism changed the way you think when it comes to loving yourself? Like, how did it turn the switch? Or better, whatever what you had already been introduced to.
Okay. When we were starting out, you said that oftentimes they say when a woman loves herself so much, she's selfish, or you have children, why don't you think about your children? But also, if you're the firstborn, oftentimes you find yourself giving out to more people than you give to yourself. And so for me, one of the things that feminism helped me to learn is to also give myself, because I'm a giver. I will give other people. I'll make time for other people. I'll do everything else for other people, but feel guilty when I'm doing things for myself. And so for me, feminism has taught me that it's okay. It's okay to take time off to do the things that make Tracy happy. And it's okay for you not to feel guilty about them. Like, you go out, if you want to buy yourself something, if you want to do something for yourself, it's okay for you to do it without feeling guilty about it. It's not bad to give, but I think it has to start with you first. Like, give yourself first so that then you can give others. So I think that's the main thing that it has done for me regarding self-love. Like, give yourself. But also, I think also feminism has taught me to be kinder to myself, because I used to be so critical of myself. And then that, like I told you about 2021, and then I would start saying, okay, I'm at this age, I'm not doing this, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Like, life is falling apart. But I think it also now has helped me, like, be able to be kind to myself and say, you know what, life is not a race. It's not a race. So it's okay for if maybe your plans didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out, it's okay. Go back to the drawing board, rethink. Maybe it was helping you out of something that you didn't know at the moment. So I think it has also really, really helped me to be kinder to myself, to be more patient with myself and my journey. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. I think I've really, really loved this, and I'm sad that we have to come to an end. But I've definitely learned a lot, as per usual, like from any conversation that we usually have. And the key point is, it's okay if you're the first copy. You can't pour out of a cup that is empty, which is literally common sense and physics. But and then also, like, guys, feminism is nice. Like, I know, like, the way it does, and I like that. I'm going to use that phrase that you used a lot. I'm going to use it a lot. Like, feminism asks for you to break apart whatever you've understood and learned as the norm, and then build again in love. So Tracy, my love, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you know once this is out, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching Conversations with Kanyomozi. My name is Lisa Kanyomozi Rawoni. See you guys next week or next post, hopefully. I love this interview with Tracy. Please let me know what you think. And also in the comment section, let me know how love has changed, how feminism has helped you love yourself better. Bye. Bye.